There's no excuse for missing this morning's Carolina People, and our guest will tell you why. Meet him, coming up next. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning with the Holiday Inn West on the Waterway. We're focused on last week's HTC Real Kids presentation, and we're visiting with its guest and featured speaker, Kyle Maynard.
Good
morning, Kyle. Good to be with you this morning. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Very exciting.
It has been. It was an honor to work with the group. It's one of the most special things I've been a part of in a while. HTC puts on a tremendous program. If people haven't heard about it, then you really, really need to look into what they're doing. And, they honored about 47 kids.
No, that many.
Yeah, just from different schools around your counties. And I'm from Atlanta, so it's interesting for me to be able to come up here and kind of see what you guys are doing as far as that goes. But it was very, very special.
Absolutely.
Kids for different reasons, from having lost something or having gone through any type of adversity and still remain to be very successful, happy kids.
You said 47 kids were honored last Thursday?
That's right, yeah.
Wow.
It was, for the most part, these kids had, similar to a lot of other kids in their grade levels had gone through challenges. Some of these kids had gone through more severe things than others, and, just varying disabilities or family loss, and every one of them just had a huge smile. And that's what really resonated with me, was the fact that they just remained so positive in the face of all these challenges and adversities. So it was a very special thing to be a part of.
And you've been through a few challenges in the past, and I guess continue with some challenges. Do you think about them that way?
It's not really something that I really think about that much. I mean, my parents raised me to be completely normal. That's the way that I see myself. The relationships that I've been in, family, friends, teammates of mine, always look at me the way I look at myself, is without any disability. I was born with a disability, but it's not something that affects me.
That's tremendous, Kyle. I wonder if, when you're with folks who have disabilities and recognize them and you see they're kind of pulling them down, what are some ways that you can connect with somebody who is, for instance, somebody who has lost one arm or one arm and a leg even, and they're pulled down by it? How do you go about communicating with them, and how can you make a difference in their lives?
It's tough. I've worked with some of the guys coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. Memorial Day weekend is a big weekend to think about that.
This past weekend,
and it's something that it's, for me, I don't know what it's like to lose. I was born with a disability, and I don't really know life any other way. But a lot of other people that have lost, I think it's so much tougher to learn a completely new lifestyle and to go through life like that. But it is possible, regardless of what it is. It doesn't matter what challenge you face, and then you just got to believe in your heart that you can go out there and you can persevere.
That's a very good point, highlighting the difference between somebody who was born one way versus someone losing. My daughter was born with a cleft palate, and so we as a family wrapping around and, of course, working on the correcting. But she's got a little hole in her stomach that she'll always have, and, of course, all she knows is the doctors did it. And that's something that when she's wearing a bikini she may think of, but that's not. I mean, that's such small potatoes when you think about the grand scheme of things.
It is, and for a lot of people, I draw inspiration from anyone, just kids who, there was kids there with cerebral palsy all the way up to, kids who had lost relatives and, just had tremendous smiles on their faces. And that was a very, very special thing to be a part of.
Absolutely. Are you originally from the area, Kyle?
No, this is actually, I'm visiting out here. This is it's one of the first times I've been out this way. I grew up outside of Atlanta, just north of the city. And, so southern boy at heart, but I do travel a fair bit now, so I'm probably on the road quite a bit more than I'm at home.
Is that right? And you attended University of Georgia? Are you still in school? Or?
I am still, I've got a little bit left to finish my undergrad. I'm about 21 now, so I have been for the last 3 years traveling quite a bit. I released my book, No Excuses.
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to hold that up. Kyle Maynard, not that you couldn't, of course, but excuse me, just because it's a great shot here. Praise for No Excuses. A lot of tremendous praise. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Larry King, Troy Aikman, some good stuff here. Folks, where could viewers get a copy of the book?
Anywhere from online, Amazon, or Barnes & Noble stores, border stores.
Sure. As seen on Oprah and Larry King Live. Wow, what's that like being with Larry King?
Larry King was actually one of my favorite broadcasters.
Is that right?
He's tremendous. We went into the interview, and the first interview, I'd done a couple interviews with him, but first interview we had, he had no idea who I was or what I was there for, and just started asking questions that he didn't want to know any more than the audience did.
Right.
So it was pretty special. I went into school with
I'm sorry I prepped it all.
intentions,
Is that right? You went into
Yeah.
school with wanting to be a broadcaster?
I did, and I've kind of flopped around now. I want to continue. I do a lot of motivational speaking, so
Sure.
I want to follow that career as long as I can, but I just filmed a pilot episode for a TV show called No Excuses. So.
No excuse. Oh, great. You mean
Yep.
the TV show's using the title of your book?
Yeah, well, I hosted the show, and just kind of the theme is just to go out there and to showcase stories where, a lot of other people have just conquered insurmountable obstacles, and it really, it's empowering for me to be around things like that,
Right.
around things like the HTC put on. It's a special thing to be a part of. It's, traveling and all that. You know how it goes. Sometimes it's a small price to pay for the the larger impact you can reach out and have on people, and the same people have on you.
Absolutely. As you think about from that show where there's some really moving experience. Now, is the show out yet, or is that out?
We shot a pilot episode, and we've approached different Discovery stations and things like that. So
okay.
we'll see what happens.
So we'll
but,
see it soon. How about some great stories? Anything that really resonated? Any amazing things happening?
The first pilot episode that we did was with a guy that grew up around my area in Atlanta, and actually went to high school, graduated ahead of me, and he was in my same high school. And I didn't really know him this well until he had an accident. He was in a hunting accident, though. He was dove hunting, and his friend was about 26 feet to his right. My friend, Gip, was his name, had some doves fly up over his left shoulder, and his friend turned and shot him 26 feet away with a 12 gauge in the temple.
Oh, my God.
And survived the incident, just had a tremendous recovery. He was in the hospital for a long time, a lot of rehab, time and time again, where doctors told his family that he wouldn't survive, and he did. He's a really good-looking guy, really successful, strong Christian, and his faith and family just brought him through this. And now he was over. I just got a new house, and he came over to the house. We were playing Xbox and goofing around, and I'm talking smack to him while we're playing Xbox, not even thinking that this is my friend that we almost lost just a few years back.
Wow.
But stories like that really people can resonate with and just look at life and say, man, I do all the time for myself, and say the challenges I have to face are nothing compared to what he's had to go through. He had to learn how to swallow again, how to do everything from driving to breathing. So it's really it's a cool thing to be a part of, and I hope that with God's will, you can go out there and have a place.
You're a Christian, Kyle.
I am.
Has God helped? I mean, is that something that did you meet Christ early on, or
I
recently?
did. I grew up in a Christian home, but it's always been something that's very, I've got a strong personal faith, and I've had times in my life. I started wrestling when I was about 11 years old, and went through a period of initial failure, and lost almost every match that I competed in for about a year and a half.
Is that right?
And prayed a lot during that period, and that was one of the things that helped pull me through. It made me know that it was possible to get out on the other end.
I was reading some scripture in the upper room just last week that highlighted oftentimes it was a daughter talking to her mother who had cancer, and the aspect of bad things happening to good people. And
Sure.
for a child trying to gauge, of course, you said you were born. Obviously, probably most viewers are looking at your handsome face, particularly our female viewers, may not notice that you're without arms and without legs. Actually, here in the chair, wouldn't be able to see that, which is pretty fascinating. I mean, clearly incredible. And you do this all without the aid of prosthetics.
I used to wear them, and they help a lot of people, but I just don't really see any purpose for me. I do everything as normal as I can, from riding, type normal, drive a normal vehicle, have almost no adaptions at all in where I live, and arms in at the elbows, legs in at the knees. It's enough enough for me to go out there and be successful wrestling. Now with the no-holds-barred fighting competitions that I've done the last couple of years, and it's pretty cool.
What are no-holds-barred fighting competition for our viewers who may not leave Fox much? Is it on Fox? What are no-holds-barred competition?
It's mixed martial arts. They combine different martial arts backgrounds. Guys that come in have karate, kickboxing, different boxing backgrounds, or just different martial arts. I have a wrestling background, so I take my opponents down and submit them on the ground. And it's a way to just go in there. It's primal. It's something that's special to me. It's a lot more technical than a lot of people look at it and say that it's cage fighting, but it is. But at the same time, it's something that I get a real spiritual rush out of it in the same sense that I can go out there and test myself and see. When I'm training 6 to 8 hours a day, see what kind of improvements I've made.
Have you met many other folks is it congenital amputation?
Yes, yeah.
Have you met many other folks with congenital amputation?
Quite a few.
Right.
I haven't really worked with that many organizations.
I was going to ask if you bumped into any of them in the cage fighting or...
Not too many other guys with the wrestling. There's one kid I met that he was a pretty successful wrestler out of Indiana, and it's interesting though, because I like I said, I don't look at myself as being disabled. I don't ever look at myself as different.
Right.
And I look at these other kids, even if they're missing one leg or something like that, and they're in there wrestling or fighting or whatever, and I see how successful they are, and it blows me away. It's not something I really think about myself.
Sure. There was a great piece in USA Today, and of course Sherry, our producer, culled together, as well as Nicole Hyman had sent over some great stuff highlighting your talk last week, to the Real Kids group. Some great piece, and there was one from 2004 from USA Today that had some tremendous information in there, and it ended up with a piece of you in the back seat of a car, and highlighted, obviously, looking in the mirror or seeing yourself, much like any other kid. So it's a great thing. But as you look at somebody who may, as you say, not have one arm, and it's pretty amazed by what they're able to do without an arm. It's
because I think what it comes down to in life is just our perspective on how we deal with certain obstacles and challenges. Because for me, I think with including you and everybody else around us, it all evens out.
Right.
And it really is just our ability to put a smile on and carry on and go through these challenges. And it doesn't really matter what we're facing, because anything's possible. Anything that you want. These kids last week with HDC, the program, the Real Kids program, they proved that more than anything was that every one of them had some challenge. 47 kids, and they recognized each individual one of them.
Is that right? Last Thursday.
Yeah, and they came up and they have just a tremendous smile on their face, and receive their awards, and just it was definitely a special thing to be around.
Do you have brothers and sisters, Kyle?
I have 3 younger sisters.
Is that right? And do they still live in Georgia? Or are they down there?
Yeah, they do.
Right.
I've got one sister who's a freshman at the University of Georgia. One's a freshman in high school. She's 15, and then a 12-year-old 6th grade sister.
Is that right? Yeah. What was that like growing up with them? And of course, again, you don't recognize the congenital amputation as being any different than anyone else. But did you all interface well?
Definitely.
Right.
And I know they see me the same way. Really, it was without the challenges, and it's it's different. They can even get more protective over me than definitely with the dating and all that.
Is that right?
They're more protective over me than I am with them, but they're good girls, super athletic. They do cheerleading, gymnastics, softball, basketball, tennis, everything.
So the congenital amputation was not genetic. Right. Nothing.
I always just say it was just God's will for me.
God's will. I love it.
I think without that, I wouldn't have had the chance to be able to speak and reach out to as many events as I've done over the last couple of years. And every day I do wake up and thank God for that gift to be able to go out and and just live that life, to be able to teach that no excuses message to other people.